Yo, what up, what up, what up? What's happening, folks? It's the pastor. Good evening. Good Sunday evening. Let me start up a little sound right quick. I think that's going to work for tonight. All right. I don't think you're going to get no words in there, though. Maybe the next go around. But let me tag some folks up. I hope everybody's had a wonderful weekend. Oh, it's on and popping, y'all. Yes, sir. The pastor's back in the house. I thank everybody for sending out well wishes and prayers and everything. I know your prayers is what got me sitting up in this chair right now. In spite of, still a little pain going on. But also as we've celebrated an amazing weekend inside of the Dixon household. Thank you all for your well wishes. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Man, when it comes to showing love, man, y'all the best. Y'all are the best. And that's why I know our country getting ready to be in the best hands. Because people that care getting ready to take this country over. Not them people who haven't cared, who've had an opportunity to do right by folks for a very long time, but have opted not to do right by them. They gotta go. Like Fetty say, all upside their head with a bottle of bub. Don't do that. Don't do that. So let me hit up some more folks. Hopefully get some folks on. Y'all please share this out. Share this out, please. Gonna be talking tonight about that 2020 vision. A lot of ways that vision got sidetracked after we ushered in the new year on January 1st, 2020. And it's time for us to recover that vision. To see just what's happened over the last 10 months, 9 months. That should bring our vision clearly in focus. There should be no doubt about it. So let me go and finish getting some folks tagged up here. Hoping everybody's having a wonderful evening. To all the soldiers out there on the front line. Man, I'm proud of y'all. Keep grinding. The grind is what's going to change things, what's going to move things. That's for sure. All right, let me hold it up right there. I think I'm good to go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, definitely not that one. Okay. Yeah, it's a few folks that I don't even spend no time tagging anymore, that's for sure. So y'all please share this out. And let's see if we can get some more folks on. All right. What's going on? What's going on? Say, got you dancing in the kitchen, huh, Brooke? Sure, you're right. That's what we do. Come on, Fetty. Yep. Dustin, what's going on? Yes, all is well. All is well. Thank you for asking. I've had those issues with my back for the last week, but I'm coming around. I'm coming around. Y'all don't know how hard it is for me to stay out them streets, when I'm not really feeling well. It's hard. It's hard. Something inside of me just drives me to get up and get out. But I've had great people who hollered at your boy, as I say, and said, look, Pastor, sit it down. Sit it down. And just to be honest with everybody, I'm at a point right now where I'm comfortable stepping back for a minute because we got some new jacks out here in the social justice advocacy world right now that I feel confident about their ability to take up the mantle that I have been pushing for a long time, many times by myself, many times with people standing next to me who had a knife in their hand and their hand in my pocket. And I didn't even realize it, or was too much blinded by the people and what the people needed for me to even worry about it. So here I am now at this point when those same new jacks out here, when they stop and they say, Man, Pastor, we got it. We got it. Go on. Get with your family for a minute. Take a break for a minute. We got this. Y'all don't know, man. I'm so proud of these younger activists that's out here. Not that I get a break, but I see the transcendence, the move toward a new generation that's taking over the movement for Black lives and the movements for social justice. I don't have to feel like I'm on this battlefield alone or that everybody around me is gray-haired and gonna die soon. I don't have to feel that way anymore. And I'm so appreciative to each and every one who stepped up and stepped out in the battle for social justice. Thank y'all. Y'all some soldiers for sure. And I appreciate y'all telling me every now and then, man, hey, Pastor, man, sit your behind down. Go ahead on. It's all right. We got this. And I'm confident and I'm comfortable now that I can periodically, because my something inside of me won't let me just step away. I can't do that. But to sit down for a minute and get a minute to breathe, to even heal, and to even spend time with family. I'm so grateful for all. Okay. Brooke, what's going on? Yeah, you say you've been in your kitchen dancing, huh? Come on, 50 Cent. All right, yeah. I'm a different kind of pastor, y'all. Look here. I ain't trying to paint no picture like I'm perfect, that's for sure. And there's been some good music out here. Unfortunately, might not meet my standard right now for the language today. Oh, but if I get that beat, I'm rocking with it, straight up. Yeah. Taisha, what's going on? How you doing? I think I saw something about a gender reveal or something like that. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna look back again. But anyway it goes, I'm sending my much love to you. Continued prayers always, okay? All righty. For sure. Sean, good evening. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Justin in the house. Stand as one in the house for sure. Yeah. Shamiki, what's going on? The Waylon Hart team in the house. Yeah. Karen, how you doing? All right. Good to see you. Michelle Felder, one of the original coalition, old school, new school coalition, and a fighter for justice for a long time. Peace be still in the house. Yes. Followed up by determined to always be. Dominique, what's going on? All right. Donna, what's going on? Shout out to you. Belated birthday wishes to you. And please tell Chef Kevin I send my love. Also, Rondell, good evening. Missy Rhodes in the house. Thank you for always keeping me informed of what's going on. And that's for sure. Faye, all right. Long time. Shauna Leah. Formerly, I think it is now off the West Coast. Is that right? Yeah, holler at your boy, hit the brother up, And I saw your follow-up post on Mary, rest in power, Mary Smith, for sure. A real soldier, a trooper out here who went through just a period of social justice activism that was unparalleled out here. So folks be talking that negativism about white allies and man, y'all don't get in my face with that foolishness for sure. I done seen some of the truest folks out here who just my cousins that's been a little lighter than me. Okay. I ain't one of them these false flaggers out here, one of them hypocrites out here getting ready to separate people off by nationality and ethnicity, because my thing is we all related anyway. Every last one of us. Okay. And for them Christians out there, Bible tell you that. That's Bible. That's Bible. So deal with it. I ain't trying to feel all that, well, our white allies or your white folk out there. I ain't trying to feel that, man. If I had more black folks that get out here on the front line, well and good. But if I got a Mary Smith, if I got a Brooke Mitchell, if I got just a countless number, a Greta Anderson or Rita or any of the others out here, if I had some black folks that'll do what they doing, I might be able to say, all right, well and good. But shoot, right now, people of color just starting to wake up, I think. We got deceived when somebody started that stay woke stuff, man. You got to wake up before you can stay woke, for sure. And for far too long, me, Michelle, Papa Smurf, others like us been out here on that front line grinding. And these same ones that's talking trash about white allies is the same ones that wasn't out there with us then. So y'all just go, man, get on before you get spit on. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the past. I just had a flashback. I'm sorry. Y'all forgive me. Y'all please forgive me. I'm sorry. Miss B, good evening. How are you? Good to see you. Amy, thank you for joining us. And Ida, good to see you also. Yes, yes, yes. Congratulations. Young king in the house, for sure. For sure. Definitely, definitely. Man, that's another soldier out here on this battlefield. I know. How do you carry a young one with boots on the ground already? That's something to think about. Because moms keep her boots on the ground for sure. And I know that apple ain't gonna fall far from the tree. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Yeah. Yeah, Amy, I'm doing a whole lot better. A lot better. There was times this week where I couldn't even walk, but I'm doing a whole lot better. I've been getting some rest, and fam's been taking care of me. The family's been taking care of me, and I've been submitting to not. I ain't took no hot. What is that other stuff? That stuff they taking for COVID and all that. No, I got some Ben Gay and some stuff like that. That's the stuff that I'm taking. Ben Gay, ibuprofen, and all that. So I don't want nobody thinking all that crazy stuff. Okay, yeah, yeah. By God's grace, I haven't gotten there, and that's for sure. So, but that Ben Gay and that stuff, that Tiger Bomb, and I think that's what they call it, Tiger Bomb. That stuff when it heat up. Lord, Lord. But I'm getting better. I'm definitely on the mend. Jen, good to see you. And Amber, what's going on? How are you? Good to see you. Donna, okay. We're going to chop this thing up in about 2 more minutes. We're going to get this thing kicking off. We started to play some more 50 Cent, really get this thing going. Yes. So you never met her, but yeah, it seemed like she was a beautiful soul, Amy. Mary Smith was incredible. And, for years, she was out there on the front line of social justice activism with us, no matter where we were and no matter what it was. If it meant marching, if it meant going to jail, she was right there, blocking traffic right along with us. And she had a degenerative disease at that time, and she was often in pain, literally hurting while she was out here fighting for justice, sign up in the air, fighting for transit, fighting for wages, fighting for better living conditions, fighting for healthcare in particular, because she was one being abused by this healthcare system. So she had every reason, personal reasons, to fight for universal healthcare that they denied her. Let that sink in. Seems the good die young, Rest in power, Mary. Rest in power. I know probably her and Moya probably raising Cain in heaven right now. I don't know. I don't know. But I'd rather believe that they're in heaven rejoicing because they're in a place where social justice activism is not needed. I'm going to leave that right there because that's a Pastor Dixon service there. That's a sermon there. That's a sermon. I'm going to drop that one and leave that one right there. Yeah. Yeah, Shauna Lee, you're in the southeast end now. Okay, you done come back cross country. Excellent, for sure. Good to see you again. Francis Baylight in the house. Yes. Charleston County School District candidate, Francis Baylight, and one that I'm supporting for school board, that's for sure, along with Erica Coakley. We're going to talk more about campaigns and everything real soon, okay? Actually, I'll be back on, I think, tomorrow night since voting starts tomorrow. And I'm going to be talking more about the candidates, especially ones that I support. I'm supporting on the North Charleston side, Kevin Hollenshed and Kristen French. And in the downtown race, I'm undeclared on that one. So do your research. Do your research. That's right, Brooke. You got it right there. Nina, what's going on? Man, an amazing performance yesterday by Ben. Yes. I hit the trifecta yesterday. I think I put it out there. Man, it started out with Ben Pogue putting it on Scarlett Wilson in a forum. Scarlett could not hold a candle to Ben, for sure. And then it was followed up with Kristen Graziano basically putting Al Cannon in his place, for sure. And we're going to put him in his place, too, which is out of the sheriff's office, and we're going to move Kristen in there as we move Scarlett Wilson out of her place and move Ben Pogue into the Ninth Circuit Solicitor's Office. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm trying to do, especially. And then yesterday evening, I don't know if y'all watched it, but if you do, go back. If you didn't, go back and watch those other two, but also go back and watch the Jamie Harrison, Lindsey Graham debate, whatever that was. But Jamie handed Lindsey his hat, basically, professionally, in a sophisticated manner. None of that foolishness and carrying on. While Lindsey tried to get down and dirty and nasty and carrying on like his mentor and icon, the one in the White House, or excuse me, the one at Walter Reed right now. Yeah, and trying to get like him out there. And Jamie just stayed classy, stayed professional, and offered solutions while Lindsey tried to create fear. That's all. That's all. You know, it's classic. Classic. Y'all go back and see it. It's time for a new senator. Lindsey got to go. And I know Tim Scott said he's not running in 22, but if he do, he still got to go. Okay? We need to vet a right candidate for that. Tony Gibbs, what's going on, brother? All right. Yes, on the men, Nina, for sure. Michelle, you say I'm crazy. I don't know. Jenny, what's going on? How are you? Good to see you. Yes, Amy, I'm going to get my rest. Lex, what's going on? Again, Miss B, Kat, Arvella, good to see you. Yes. Keeping you in my prayers as always. For sure. Edwin the chef, right. What's up, chef? What's going on, my friend? How are you? Good to see you. Next sheriff of Charleston County and on board tonight, Kristen Graziano. Outstanding performance yesterday. Outstanding. Man, they look here. You know, Al, he couldn't delay his appearance any longer, could he? I mean, it was like a half hour late before we got on it. We can make all them excuses we want and carrying on, but shoot, if some people on time when it's free drinks before 7, some people on time when the pastor get to church late, some people is on time or at least late when they don't want to be there. Okay. So I'm just drop that out there because the darn sheriff definitely was really late yesterday. I thought I was on the wrong channel or something. You know, I'm sending text messages out. But let me warm this up. Good to see you doing well, Chef. That's for sure. Keep grinding, brother. Yeah, Gail. Lindsey looked scared and angry. He got one time he just got to shaking. Just shaking. You know, when you've been in a seat like that, when you've been in power like that for a long time, to be challenged in that power, sometimes it can be a little bit unnerving. And guess what? Lindsey got unnerved last night. This Friday, 7 o'clock p.m. I think it's on channel 2. They'll be back on again, for sure. You know, I love the way that Jamie had the plexiglass partition up there. Like, I ain't getting ready to let that dude get close enough to me to infect me, and that's for sure. That is for sure. Okay. All right, let's break this thing off a little bit. Let's break it off a little bit. And I want to break it off very quickly and get done with it before 9 o'clock dealing with COVID-19, as I have started off since March the 14th, actually. 2 days before the first death in South Carolina, I started reporting on COVID. So this is a quick update on COVID-19, okay? Globally, around the world, 1,035,000 deaths have been attributed to COVID-19. The coronavirus, or what's called the novel coronavirus, novel meaning new, the new coronavirus. Why? Because there are other coronaviruses. As a matter of fact, the common cold is a coronavirus. But the common cold, it ain't nothing like this new or this novel coronavirus called COVID-19 that actually started in late last year, late 2019, but didn't find its way to the shores of America, to the shores of the United States until January. The first deaths being attributed in the United States in early February. First death here in South Carolina on March the 16th. But since it's got here globally, that's 1,035,000 dead due to coronavirus. And I ain't trying to hear people talking about making excuses, well, that you know that's not accurate, and they just assigning people coronavirus deaths or whatever. Okay, all right, have it your way. Okay, until you get diagnosed with it and then you wind up with a toe tag on, okay? And with it says corona, fight it then, fight about it then, okay? But nationally, in the United States, since March the 16th, since the first deaths in February, early February, in the United States, 210,000 people have died. 210,000 people. And there are those that's going to say that same thing as they always. Well, you know how many people there are in the United States, and that's a small percentage. But if it's somebody that you love and care about, if it's your mom or dad or a son or a daughter or a good friend or a coworker or something like that, if it's a child school teacher who's died from coronavirus, and you had to live with the pain and the anguish of losing that loved one, especially if it was under the situation where that loved one went to the hospital and was not allowed to come back home because they had coronavirus, and ultimately was not able to have any visitors or anything before transitioning from this world, before dying. No visitation, no loved ones to stand there, loved ones being able to say goodbye, I love you, let me pray over you. None of that, none of that. Dying alone due to quarantine from COVID-19. So there are those who are going to say, you know, well, that's just a small percentage. Okay, wait until it's your turn. That's all I can say, because it ain't going to be so pretty. And each person out here is important, and their pain should be our pain. And we should be willing to bear the burdens of others and not make excuses for it. 210,000 dead, and somebody that's in charge of this country who could have reduced those numbers drastically, and who's in charge of the state who could have reduced those numbers drastically, and who's in charge of some of these cities who could have reduced those numbers drastically, following suit between that one from that behind that one at the top who says, well, it is what it is. There's going to be a judgment. Trust me, I'm not the judge. I'm a witness. I'm a witness. In any courtroom, there's only one judge, okay? After that, you got witnesses, and the witnesses come up to the stand and testify what they've seen. I'm testifying what I've seen here, that this president, that this governor, that those in power here could have done some things that would have mitigated this situation before we had this many deaths and brought this thing under control, but they didn't. I'm a witness to that. And I'm telling the judge, do your job. And the judge going to do his job, because we serve a righteous judge. That's right. And he's not going to let that type of abuse of people go unchecked. Y'all forgive me for the sermon message right there. I'm really sorry, okay? Just had to drop that in there. Eli, yes, the young generation in the house, Gen Z in the house. Loving it, that's for sure. But nationally, there's been 210,000 deaths due to coronavirus. And right here in South Carolina, I mentioned it a minute ago that the first death in South Carolina was on March 16th of this year. Okay, what was that? 6 months ago? 7 months ago? Something like that. Going on 7 months ago. And since then in South Carolina, we've had 3,255 deaths. 3,255. Now, compared to some other places that really got hit really hard, and we haven't gotten hit hard yet, and I'm going to tack that on there, because if you look at New York right now, New York is spiking again. They've got hot spots all around New York right now after getting that thing under control, okay? And we've never got it under control yet. And why do I say that? Because out of that 3,255, in the first 106 days, I ended that first session from that first set of days from March the 16th, the first death, to June the 30th, okay? And I just said randomly, okay, June the 30th, because it's the last day of the month or whatever. From that first death on March 16th until June 30th, we had 735 deaths, okay? That was 106 days from March 16th to June 30th, 106 days. From July 1st until today, which is 96 days, from July 1st until today, we've had 2,520 deaths. So in 96 days, we've had 2,520 deaths. But in the first 106 days, we had 735. And somebody trying to tell me it's getting better? It's getting better? 735 in 106 days. And in the last 96 days, 2,500. By the time we get to the second 106-day period, which is 10 days from now, we might be over 3,000 additional deaths since July 1st, compared to 735 in the first 106 days. It ain't getting better, folks. It ain't getting no better, folks. It's getting worse, okay? So stand by. Protect yourselves. Continue to wash your hands frequently. Continue to do that, please. Can't tell nobody stay in because ain't nobody staying in no more. So if you're going out, make sure that anytime you're around people, that you're social distancing as best as possible. But the biggest thing that we need to do right now is to make sure that we're wearing masks and we're wearing them properly, that we have them covering both our nose and our mouth anytime we're around people. Anytime we leave the house, wear a mask. The government's not going to give you that. The government allowed 210,000 people to die in the United States. The government in South Carolina has allowed 3,000 people to die. Don't wait on them to tell you what to do, because they ain't going to do it. They're not in this to help. That's for sure. Matter of fact, they're catering to a group of people who are in denial. And maybe some of them will change their mind now that they see the denier in chief have to go to Walter Reed for treatment for COVID. Wife sick, friends sick, all of them sick. Maybe they'll start believing now, but anyway it goes, this is election season. I don't care whether they believe it or not. Vote them the heck out. They got to go. Send them home. Let them go be sick at home. If let him pay for his health care too, and not off taxpayer dollar. He literally ignored the sign, so I don't see why the taxpayers are being burdened by that expense. Him, any other Republicans out there, I don't see why the taxpayers have to share that expense, and they chose the path that they took. Okay, they chose it. Wow, at the rodeo in Monk's Corner, Sheila, shoulder to shoulder and no mask. It's crazy. It's crazy. So as we're hitting right at 9 o'clock, let me move right along, okay? But that's it on COVID. Do what you can to protect yourself and your family from this killer. We are going to have a problem because of our schools doing what they're doing, our school boards. Here's a suggestion I have for anybody and everybody, okay? And it hasn't been done yet nationally, I don't think. But when people start getting sick now, after our school boards have allowed our schools to reopen, after our local government has decided that, okay, like restaurants and everything, full out now. Folks get sick and folks die, start suing people. That's my thought on it. Start suing people. Sue Governor McMaster. I'm not talking about sue the government. No. I'm not talking about like sue the school board or the school district. No. Sue the superintendent for everything that she's got. Sue the school board members. Anyone that would not vote against that, sue them. If they are directly or indirectly responsible for the death of a loved one, we got a teacher that's in class and she catches COVID or he catches COVID and they die, sue. And sue them personally. Look, I'm one of them. I'm really a nice guy. But I say take them for every dime they got. Take their house, their car, pension fund. I don't care what it is. Sue them because they have an opportunity to do the right thing. But instead of that, they're following behind a fool who doesn't believe in the science and a set of fools who don't believe in the science. Sue them. So that's just food for thought. Just planting some seed. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? Because if any of mine get sick, who are involved in any of these systems, you better believe paperwork is drawn up already. We're going to bust it out. Erica Coakley in the house. Erica, what's going on? Good to see you. Erica Coakley is running for school board also in Charleston County, and I'm definitely supporting Erica in her run. So please, Y'all give her a handout. She can use some donations too. She needs some volunteers out here to help with door hangers and everything. So please support that. I know Erica has a heart for the community. I know that she has a love of people. As a mother, she's definitely for it, especially a mother with a special needs child. She has a different outlook on school systems other than these elites that we have sitting on those boards now, that some of which are, it appears to be that they work for a special interest group called the Coalition for Kids. They got to go. And that's why I'm sort of supporting candidates who are not being supported by Coalition for Kids or has the look of being supported by Coalition for Kids. We don't need any more. We got at least 4 of them on the board right now, possibly 5, one that's up for re-election. If we get 2 or 3 more, man, there'll be nothing we can do to protect our children in the public school system. Nothing whatsoever. So we need to make sure that Erica and Francis Baylott get in office. In the downtown race, I'm going to refrain because I have 2 friends that are in that race. I'm going to refrain from declaring. But in North Charleston, we need to get Kristen French and Kevin Hollenshed. Kevin Hollenshed, the incumbent, reelected. Okay. Anybody that don't like it, holler at your boy. Okay, for sure. I ain't scared of nobody out here. Shoot, I've been out here a long time. I done been in places most people ain't been. I've been shot at and the whole 9. So I'm out here right now trying to deal with racists, who just, they ain't got no white sheets on no more, but they definitely deadly. Okay, so for those who don't like what I got to say, well, I'm really sorry about it, but get over it. I'm not in this to win friends and influence people. I'm in here to tell the truth, okay? So let me move right along, though. The beginning of 2020 was amazing, wasn't it? As we ended 2019, got to New Year's Eve, 2019 was not exactly a refreshing year. There was difficulties and impeachments and all kinds of chaos and things going on. And as we got to 2020, to New Year's Eve, going into 2020, the mantra, the thought process was, okay, somebody said, man, 2020, that's like vision, okay? Maybe next year is going to be a clear path forward. We'll have 2020 vision. We'll be able to see a better day. And a lot of people had their New Year's resolutions, and we're going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and it's going to be a great year. And that's the way we start off many years on New Year's Day. But how many of y'all know that once we turned the corner into 2020 vision went out of the door? That vision became a nightmare. No? What do you think? What do you think? It's so bad that I think that if I ask people today about their New Year's resolution, they forgot those things a long time ago because it's been so challenging just to be alive in 2020. 2020 is declared. What happened to that 20? It's going to be a great year. We're going to get it right this year. It's going to be amazing. Yes. And we turned around and we got slapped in the United States with a virus that's killed 210,000 people. Man. A virus that a president of the United States said it was a hoax set up by the Democrats, a hoax that has cost 250,000 Americans their lives so far and actually just put him in the hospital. We've been dealing with over-aggressive policing, overt murderous racial hatred, and we just ain't had a flashpoint yet here in the Low Country. But if you've been watching, you see people who are approaching protesters with weapons in their vehicles, weapons on their side. And these folks ain't coming to be nice or to try to allow protesters to peacefully express themselves according to their First Amendment rights. No. They're coming rooted and grounded in racial hatred, angry. Ask them. Ask any one of them. They won't talk to you reasonably. They're mad. They're angry. It looked like you've been sucking on a lemon or something like that. There's a level of mental illness there somewhere. That you're mad with people or angry with people who have basically done nothing but express their own opinions. To the point where you will put a gun on your side or several guns in your truck and then walk around and follow them and stalk them and everything. Like being hunted. Because of this, we saw a re-energized Black Lives Matter movement, or the movement for Black lives in America this year. As well as there's been natural disasters. We've had repeated and ever intensifying storms hit our coast and wildfires. It's been a chaotic year. I don't remember the beginning of summer at all. And I don't know what happened in spring. And I sure don't remember what kind of resolutions were on the table on January 1st, because 2020 and 2020 vision, that thing been dashed as far to the ground as it possibly can be. And holding out hope for a better society is a very hard thing to do. But that's a very big little word. But when we look at what we've endured thus far with the COVID pandemic that we're under, and the deaths and the heartbreak and the pain that has produced, and the over-aggressive policing that has led to a resurgence of the voice of Black lives in the streets, and the storms and the fires and all of these things. When we look inside of all of these things, we can actually see that the move toward a clarity of vision is really in the midst of this, folks. It's right there. We just have to be aware. And I just stopped by here tonight on my way to heaven, just to let y'all know about how clear the vision, the 2020 vision is now, as we're 10 months into 2020. Oh, it don't get much clearer than what it is right now, okay? When it comes to COVID-19, this scourge that we've been up under, people dying and everything, COVID-19 brought a clarity to so many different issues that the Republicans, yeah, I'm drawing that party line again. There you go, that Don Dixon. He's don't like Republicans. Nope, I'm not rocking with Republicans. I keep telling you, nice people, and we can associate and everything. I'm not voting for them. I'm not suggesting that or encouraging anybody to vote for them. I'm not rocking with them on political issues because of the same things. Listen, because of COVID-19, the Republicans have been made a lie out of so different many areas. Let me touch on it. Right now. You know, the predominant people affected by COVID-19, the majority of the deaths have been people of color, right? Black folk in particular, and brown folk, okay, and Native Americans, okay? Why is that? It's very simple. It's because in America, there's a disproportionate level of health care that black people, brown people, and red people, Native Americans, somebody had a problem with me saying red people, okay? But they don't have me saying problem when we saying black people, brown people, and white people. But these ethnicities have been deprived of quality health care in the United States, many of which would have that health care if we had universal health care or Obamacare. The Affordable Care Act, there are a lot of people who don't understand that Obamacare is the Affordable Care Act. With its flaws, at least it provided health care for people. It gave people an opportunity to deal with the comorbidity issues, the pre-existing conditions that COVID-19 has come looking for. You see, this virus goes looking for weaknesses in the systems of people, and it latches on and it begins to develop itself within these weakened systems and ultimately attacks the lung system and shuts the lungs down. And why are these people having these weaknesses? Why are the majority of them black people? because we have not had access to quality health care. Because in our communities, a lot of times we live in communities that are food deserts where we don't have access to quality foods. And if we do have access to them, they're so high, the cost is so high. And because of the failure to move beyond a minimum wage, of 725, because the same Republicans refuse to increase people's wages so they can at least live and spend money at a store that has quality foods. There's a plethora of things that have contributed to the weakened systems of African Americans and Latino brothers and sisters and our Native American brothers and sisters that has led to COVID-19 ravaging their bodies, while the majority population, which is white, are losing people at a far less rate than black folk, people of color. But you see, prior to COVID, though, our Republican brothers and sisters would say, no, it's not like that. Everything is okay. No, there's no such thing as systemic racism. All of these things is a figment of the poor people and the black people's imagination. They're lying about that. It's not that way. So we're not going to pass that. We're going to fight against Obama. We're going to repeal every bit of Obamacare. And because of their failure to do so, people are dying. Their failure to support universal health care, people are dying now. This COVID revealed that. COVID gave us 2020 vision in this area. And even the Republicans now, they stuttering and stammering when it comes time to talking about it. Talking about universal care. Accept it because it's clear. It's been cleared up. Also, the economic disparities that I just talked to due to not being paid well, lack of education, opportunities to prosperity. All of these things have been identified through COVID, right along with the fact that it's pretty amazing that before COVID-19, our healthcare professionals were not respected. Many of them who were not doctor status, were not respected. Our people who work our regular services out here on the street and folks that work in our supermarkets and our grocery stores and our Walmarts and everything were not respected. And a lot of them still aren't respected, still at $7.25. And if they could take that down, some of the Republicans would. I remember at one point they were trying to knock that minimum wage from $7.25 down to $2 and some change. Is that crazy or what? But now all of a sudden, because of COVID, what happens? These essential workers, now the essential workers still ain't got no more money. Teachers, essential workers, still ain't got no more money. People who work in the hospitals in housekeeping, in food service, all of these other things, they're essential workers. People that work on the streets, like my brother Papa Smurf, who did contract this thing, but he managed to beat it, He works on the street, essential workers, but now you got to fight because they're not paying him like he's essential. And guess who's been blocking it all these years? The Republicans. But thanks to COVID now, it's crystal clear. We see who the problem is and why people are being deprived in America. Why the Americans cannot achieve the American dream and can't even live in a pandemic because they've been systematically and systemically deprived of things that their white counterparts take for granted. And them same people say, oh, they're just making that up. It's not like that. Yeah, it's a lie out of the pits of hell, for sure. These are the issues that the Republicans have consistently denied and blocked the legislation for that could have helped healthcare, wages, education, all of these. And they continue to do it. That's why right now, they need to be stopped. This year, 2020, that's part of that clear vision, The vision has been set forth. It's clear to see. They need to be stopped, and they need to be stopped at the polls. Yep. In just a little bit more than 1 month. Actually, 1 month. 1 month. 30 days from now, 29 days from now, they need to be stopped at the polls. They need to be stopped before then, before we even get to that point, for sure. What else has been clarified as far as the Republicans, when it comes to COVID? Let's not forget the intentional lies. The intentional lies, and that they continue to support those same lies lies in order to cover up their failure to protect the American people. Let's not forget that now. While the Dems been trying to do things in order to help folks, like get another stimulus package passed so that we could begin to pump money. That's another thing. For so long, the Republicans talk about trickle-down economics. That means the money goes to the top, and according to Republicans, that when it goes to the top, it will trickle down to the little guy at the bottom. But how many of y'all know that that don't work? That when the money get to the top, it stay at the top. And the people at the bottom get some crumbs that might be left over. It don't trickle down. And the only way we're going to build a strong economy is to build it from the bottom up. We increase the financial worth of people at the bottom through investing in the people at the bottom, who in turn will spend money into our system and spend it at mom and pop stores and small businesses and big businesses too. But they'll spend that money in order to strengthen the economy from the bottom up. And the people at the top will still profit because the bottom is strong. But the Republicans think about it the other way, from the top down. That never works for you and I, the little people. It never works, okay? And it never will work. 30 days. Thank you, Jen. 30 days. Are y'all ready for a revolution? Revolution happens at the polls. And we need everybody. You know, in South Carolina right now, I heard a number earlier today that there are at least 1 million people who are eligible to be registered to vote in South Carolina who are not registered. And the last time to register online is tonight at midnight. Get registered. Find somebody. Call somebody when I get off this thing and say, are you registered? They can register online, or tomorrow they'll be able to register through a mail. You can still have a mail-in ballot, and there'll be a couple of places where they'll be doing it tomorrow. One will be at the Coliseum. When you for those who want to go vote, they can vote there, but you can also apply for a mail-in registration right there, and also at Walmart, North Rivers Avenue, 7400 North Rivers Avenue, tomorrow afternoon. I think that's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll have to put the information up a little later, okay? But yeah, it's crazy. It's the Republicans, okay? Them Republicans. And they always pointing fingers at the Dems. Democrats do this, Democrats do that. You know, some darn Republicans, for sure. Yeah. But you know, because of COVID, that thing got crystal clear. It's easy to see who the problem is. And if you don't think that Donald Trump is a problem, something wrong with you. If you don't think Lindsey Graham is a problem, something wrong with you. Tim Scott, Sandy Sin, pick one. Something wrong with you, for sure. You can let them know I said it. It's all good. Al Cannon, something wrong with you. I say Al Cannon because, of course, I pointed out that the movement for Black Lives or Black Lives Matter, that's something else that has made it crystal clear where the Republicans stand at. You can't deny it. You cannot deny it. The aggressive policing, clear as a bell. Clear as a bell. When you see a law enforcement officer with his knee on the neck of George Floyd for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, man hollering for his mother and that he can't breathe. And he didn't get up. He did not get up. When they did get him up, he was dead. And the Republicans failed to understand what we as a people collectively for years have said about Black Lives Matter. Not that it's any kind of terrorist group or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, right here in Charleston, it's just amazing how even the sheriff will hold on to the fact of what happened on May the 31st, right? May the 31st. That was over about 100 and some odd days ago. Everything right now is based on that. Mine's stuck right there. And the fact is, though, yes, we did have some damage down on King Street. And this is going out to them King Street merchants, too, who I need to talk to. We need to have a conversation. Because I'm about tired of them letting somebody else put fear in their hearts about what happened on May 31st and have not realized, one, that we are over 100 days since then and nothing else has happened to their businesses. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but no, I'm going to say it was something could have happened, but it didn't, and it hasn't. And you're still living there in fear. And also, if none of you merchants down there on King Street did anything since Trayvon Martin and the movement for Black Lives to make it better, to stop, to prevent from what happened to George Floyd and what happened to Jacob Blake and what happened to Walter. If you haven't done anything in 5 years since Walter Scott to make sure it didn't happen again, you ain't got a darn thing to be mad about right now about what happened down there. Get up and help. Get up and help. Somebody tag somebody that's a King Street merchant. I'm around here crying about your store and carrying on, and we got people dying. You know, I'm not condoning what happened down there on May the 31st at all. Okay. But first, there was no burning, all of that. And then folks like say burning and looting. Horrible black people. Most of the people that was doing this stuff was not black folks. The people that are in the streets right now that I'm rocking with, none of them were down there that night. None of them was a part of that. But we got people like Al Cannon that's out here promoting this whole thing, this law and order dog whistle thing like the president of the United States does, following suit behind him, stirring up racial hatred based on fear, and then bullying people. But it's become crystal clear as to where the Republicans are on the issues of Black Lives Matter. It's crystal clear. You can always tell who the Republicans are, or them Blexit people, or black exit people. You know, at least under Candace Owens, right? It's black, yeah. Because the reality is that when a black person gets killed by the police, they blame the black person that got killed. They blamed Walter Scott. They blamed Trayvon Martin. They blamed George Floyd. They blamed Ahmaud Arbery, who got killed by civilians. They blame every black person that gets killed in these situations, not the killer. But they don't blame Kyle Rittenhouse, the 17-year-old who brought an AR-15. 17-year-old mother brought him across state lines with an AR-15 to go and confront protesters. And they say, "Oh, you did a great job. I'll contribute $100 to his fund." The Republicans. And it would not be as clear as it is right now had it not been for the chaos and turmoil and all of this. You see, the crystal clear vision, 2020 vision for this year has come out of suffering and hardship and contention. But it's so easy, as this being the election year, 2020 election year, it's so clear now and easy to see that we as a people have an opportunity to make sure that that clear vision we have now is not clouded when we get to the polls. And we have the unique opportunity to vote every last one of them slap out of their office and replace them with somebody who at least understands what Black Lives Matter means, understands about the disparate treatment of people of color in America and the systemic racism that caused them to be prime targets for COVID, understands that in the Republican Party, all we see from the top down is a bunch of people who like to bully their way through, and they've been able to silence Dems for a while. But check this out. You ain't silencing nobody no more. Ain't nobody scared of y'all, for sure. And I saw this yesterday as we move forward. And I saw this in Joe Biden's debate forum, or whatever you want to call them, with Donald Trump the other day. Because Trump tried to bully him. And Joe ain't bully. Joe did not bully. He didn't go for that. Joe stood up and fought back. He called him a clown to his face. Told him to shut up to his face. National TV to the president of the United States. And he labeled him correctly. I'm sorry, like I said, I ain't in this to win friends and influence people. For sure. I'm just here to tell the truth. He labeled him correctly. The dude's a clown. And he should have shut up. At least he would have had some more respect for, the nation might have had more respect for him. But there's those people who follow behind him who love a bully. Because that's what they do. That's why they show up at the State House with all their AR-15s and all their flak jackets and all this here, or sneak around behind peaceful protesters with tasers and mace and sidearms and AR-15s in their truck and stuff, because they're bullies too. But they sneak around because they're cowards. They're cowardly bullies. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. But Vice President Biden, last Tuesday, literally stood up to the bully and told him, I ain't scared of you. I'm going to talk to the American people about where do we go from here. While you talking about me, I'm going to talk to the people about where we go. And I saw it yesterday when Ben Pogue, Democratic candidate for Ninth Circuit Solicitor's Office, representing Charleston County and Berkeley County, Charleston County and Berkeley County, we need to get Ben in office, standing up to Scarlett Wilson. And I thought it was really funny that Scarlett Wilson decided to drop my name out there. And Pastor Dixon and Elder Johnson, this, that, and the other. And yes, we had looked at some of the things that she's done. But the reality is, I'm on Ben Pogue's community action team. And if I thought Scarlett was good for the community, I wouldn't be on Ben Pogue's team. I'd be on her team. So she can drop my name out there all she wants. But I'm going to tell you from the bottom of her heart, I'm not self-supporting her. She need to go. She need to go. As far as I'm concerned, as the lead solicitor for Charleston County, she's the reason why we didn't get a conviction in Charleston County in the Walter Scott murder. It had to go to a federal court and then get a civil rights conviction instead of a murder. And I ain't forgetting that, and I ain't putting that under the table. She need to go. Funny how she want to drop my name out there. When I'm dropping my name out here, vote Ben Pogue for Ninth Circuit Solicitor's Office. Straight up. Now, rock with that. Rock with that for sure. And I saw it again when I saw Kristen Graziano, who's running for Charleston County Sheriff against Al Cannon. A 30 some odd year. Al Cannon been in office since Fred Flintstone. And she stood up to him, faced him down, called him on his mess after he showed up like a half hour late for the darn discussion, claiming he couldn't get in. Psh. Yeah, when you don't want to get in, you ain't going to get in, huh? Kristen Graziano. She's got what it takes in order to run our sheriff's office in a manner that's going to be revolutionary, just like Ben Pogue's vision for the solicitor's office is revolutionary, and it brings everybody in and includes everybody into the process, not from a law and order lock 'em up standpoint, but from the fact that everybody deserves an opportunity to be a productive member of society. And when we feed into that productivity, then we can produce productive citizens, not locking them up. Because the one thing about locking them up, you lock them up, they're coming back. And if there's been no change, they're going to come back and do the same things they've been doing. Ben Pogue, Kristen Graziano are people that are ready to make that change. Whereas both Scarlett Wilson and Al Cannon have had their opportunities to do so. And guess what? They have not done it. I don't want to hear nothing from Scarlett Wilson talking about, well, I've started this and I've started that. Well, you've been in office long enough to have done that. Period. Vote Ben Pogue. Ninth Circuit Solicitor's Office. Vote Kristen Graziano, Charleston County Sheriff's Office, for sure. And vote Jamie Harrison for U.S. Senate against Lindsey Graham. As I'm coming closer to the close of this, okay? I thought it was really hilarious in the yesterday at the forum with Jamie Harrison and Lindsey Graham, how Jamie opened up with these words. As a matter, let me read it. He said, and they get here a 1-minute intro. I'm not going to read the whole intro, but here's what it says in a synopsis. He said, tonight you will probably hear from Lindsey Graham, and he will scare you to vote for him. I hope tonight to inspire you to support me. And when Graham got his turn to speak his 1 minute, he opened up by saying, you have nothing to be afraid about with me. Jamie said, he's going to scare you. Lindsey said, you don't have anything to be afraid of me for. That's not the same thing. It's not what Jamie said. Ain't nobody afraid of Lindsey Graham. Who's it? Out of this audience that's watching it, who's afraid of the big bad Lindsey Graham? Anybody? I think Lindsey is bigger in his own mind than he is anybody else, okay? He said, you have nothing to be afraid about with me. But that's not what Jamie said. Again, ain't nobody afraid of Lindsey. Jamie said that Lindsey was going to try, and I quote, try to scare you to voting for him. And that's exactly what he did when he had a chance to talk. Lindsey talking about liberals taking over America and destroying it, going back to the dog whistles of law and order that Trump talks about, burning and looting. Liberals let people burn and loot. Now, let me go back to right here to Charleston. The burning, there was none on the 30th of May, which over 100 days ago. The looting happened that night, and it was mainly people who weren't from here who was the catalyst for all of that. And since then, for over 100 days, ain't been none of that. Ain't been none of that. But people like Lindsey Graham, people like the president, soon to be former president, and all the other Republicans, that's the first thing. Sandy Sand has got a commercial talking about this law and order. She's got fire burning. Mace, what's her name? Whatever that lady name is, from former Citadel person. She got a commercial with the burning down and everything. And that's just a dog whistle from the Republican Party that's trying to paint this picture and make people that support them afraid of Democrats. They want to win by fear. And that's why Jamie opened up by saying, Lindsey Graham's going to try to scare you to vote for him. And that's because that's exactly what the Republicans been doing. Watch their ads. Watch their attack ads. Watch them on TV. Generating fear among their base. Generating fear by attaching ties to Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and other Dems. That's crazy. Last night in the debate, Lindsey talked more about Obama and Nancy Pelosi than he did about what he was going to do about the coronavirus, about education, about health care, about how we get people paid. None of that. None of that. Talked about Barack Obama. Lindsey, if you're listening, guess what? Jamie Harrison is your opponent who's going to beat you. And Barack Obama's not running for office, and Nancy Pelosi isn't in this race. And you can't get into office patting yourself on the back about what Tim Scott did. Listen to the thing from last night for sure. Patting himself on the back about Tim Scott, for sure. But generating fear among his base, them dog whistles, the law and order, all these other things, generating, and the folks, the blind sheep that follow him. They just, yeah, he's right. Lindsey's right. I looked at the comments. They said he did a great job. Anybody, if you watch that thing, Lindsey got his hat handed to him. Jamie Harrison put a whooping on him. Professionally. Courteous. just a nice whooping. That's all. And the only people who will say that Lindsey did great in the debate last night are people who support them. People who have been generated, this fear has been generated in them because of people like Lindsey and the Republican Party who still put them dog whistles out and try to create this fear. They're going to make this a socialist country. Well, I'll tell you what, my savior is Pastor Dixon. My savior is Jesus Christ, and he was a socialist, okay? He believed in helping people out, making sure people had good health care, that they was fed. He did things like that for sure. Crazy. But generating fear among their base. Listen to this, okay? And as I come close to an end here. Lindsey even insinuated that if Jamie acted more like Nikki Haley or Tim Scott, then he would be accepted as a senator, or be more acceptable as a senator. If he acted more like Nikki Haley, okay, Nikki Haley is an Asian American. She's Indian, from the continent of India. Her birth name is Nimrata Nikki Randhawa. That's her name, not Nikki Haley. Haley's her married name. Her name is Nimrata Nikki Randhawa. Okay. But she's dropped that because that's not a name that's going to get you so far in certain circles, especially within the Republican Party. Okay. So Lindsay say, Jamie, you need to be more like her, or you need to be more like Tim Scott. Basically, what he's saying is, Jamie, you black, so if you act more like Tim Scott, you can be a senator. If you were more like Tim Scott, you too would be accepted by white folks. Well, I appreciate, listen, that's that crystal clear that I'm talking about. It don't get no clearer than that. It don't get, he told Jamie Harrison, because Jamie didn't put that whooping on him now. Okay, straight up, because this was later on in the conversation. He told Jamie that if you just act a little bit more as a black person like Tim Scott, that's the kind of black people that we want around us, that's acceptable around us. But you back talking to me, son. Yeah, boy, you back talking to me, Even though you're telling the truth, you're back talking me. And you stay in your place. Act more like Tim. Act more like Nikki Haley. And you can go far. See, that's what happens when they get unnerved. When they run into people and ain't scared of them. And they try to bully their way. Because he tried to bully his way through the whole conversation. I like the part where Jamie said that he had that plexiglass partition specifically put up there because he knew Lindsay wasn't going to wear no mask. I love it. So, folks, here's what I'm saying, though. COVID-19 has brought all of these things into COVID-19, and the movement for Black lives and the over-aggressive policing, all of these things have made it crystal clear. The failure of our leader to act in these areas and with the storms that are ravaging our coast and the fires that are happening. What he said something crazy about the fires too. It's crystal clear in 2020 what we need to do in the 2020 elections. It doesn't get any clearer than that. So as we opened up the year in January with all of these goals and aspirations for a 2020 vision in 2020, we just didn't know how we were going to get to that vision. But folks, it is here. It is now. And as the song goes by Johnny Nash, I can see clearly now what needs to be done between tomorrow, which is the first day of voting, in-person absentee, and November the 3rd, which is the last day to vote, the actual election day. So that on November 4th, when we wake up, Donald Trump has not been elected, re-elected president. Lindsey Graham is no longer the state senator from South Carolina. And Al Cannon is no longer the sheriff of Charleston County. Scarlett Wilson is no longer the solicitor for Charleston County. We have no new Coalition for Kids people on the Charleston County School Board. And the list goes on that I'm going to get more into tomorrow and the day after because now it's time for you all to know who my picks are. Okay. And if I don't say a name, I ain't rocking with them. For sure. There'll be some that I might miss that I hope will holler at their boy and say, hey, Pastor, I thought we was good. And I tell you straight tough, if we ain't good, I'm going to tell you that. And if we are good, I'm going to say, please forgive me. I forgot to add you into the list. And I will add you on the next broadcast. But stand by. It's time, folks. It is time. It is time. We have been through too much this year that has produced this crystal clarity of vision to see what the Republicans have done to us and what they have not done for us over decades of abuse that have kept us down. And folks are going to say, well, what about the Democrats? First off, they haven't been in power. Second off, give them a chance to get in power. And third off, make sure that we're doing what it takes in order to make sure when they get in power that they do what's necessary for us. Period. One thing about the Republicans, though, we already know what they're going to do and what they ain't going to do. They done told us. They done showed us. In the worst of times, in the worst of 2020, in the worst of times, they've shown us. Maya Angelou said, when somebody show you the first time, believe them. They've shown us time and time and time again And we still ain't been there. Remember, 1 million people are not registered to vote in South Carolina. And we can register online until midnight tonight. If you know somebody that's not registered, get them registered. If they're ex-felon, have been to prison, they're finished with their sentence and paid all their fines or whatever, except for child support. If they paid all their fines and finished, they can register. Get registered tonight. Go online. Or you can register by mail still. Tomorrow is the last day. As long as your ballot is postmarked tomorrow. You can actually register by mail tomorrow as long as it's postmarked tomorrow. Please, folks, please. Now's the time. It don't get no clearer than this. I don't think we're going to have this much clarity again as far as what we as a people need to do in America again. For 400 years as black people in America, we have not arrived. We have not overcome. We've come nowhere near. You can't point me back to the civil rights era and tell me that we all right, because we ain't all right today. George Floyd, rest in peace. Jacob Blake, rest in peace. Breonna Taylor, rest in power. Trayvon and Eric Garner and Walter Scott and Derek Drayton right here in North Charleston. Asbury Wilder right here in North Charleston. And the list is so extensive. I got to shut it down. I can't keep talking about them. But now is the time, my friends. And we together are the people that can bring this change about. Don't let this message go unheard. It doesn't get any clearer than this. It doesn't get any clearer. They have shown us that they don't give a darn about us, about our children, about our lifestyles, or us in America. Joe Rowley took the city of Charleston from 75% African American to 75% white in 40 years. And you talking about he's the people's mayor? He might be, but it ain't our people. He don't love you. For sure. He need to go. Well, he already gone. But we need to make sure we correct the history books. You walking around talking about patting Joe Rowley on his back? Heck with that. Joe Rowley is part of the Coalition for Kids, trying to privatize our school system, which is basically going to create a new age segregation that's going to push our kids out of the school system. Black, brown, and poor kids out of the schools, deprive them of a quality education, and in doing so deprives them of a future. Unless it's just a future that's relegated to the block or prison. It's tight, but it's right. Folks, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all so very much, okay? Everybody that's logged on, everybody that's checked in, everybody that said a prayer for me, everybody that's wished my family members, my daughter, my grandchildren, happy birthday. Everybody who's prayed for my wife, for having a crazy husband like me, for sure. I'm so appreciative of each and every one of you. To all of my friends, thank you. To those out here who are not my friends, who don't even consider yourselves friends, who are frenemies, okay? Man, it's all right. It's all right. Be you. Do you. I don't have any malice in my heart toward you, you know. To the white supremacists out here, the ones who like to follow behind us with guns and stuff like that, I don't have any malice in my heart to you, for sure. I hope that you don't hurt anybody, but I don't hate you. I don't even dislike you. To you be your way and to me be mine. Just don't hurt nobody. Don't hurt nobody. Let people be people. And that's one thing about being people. We can be different. We don't have to agree with one another, but that doesn't make us enemies. So tonight, I'm saying, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. Need prayers for the missus, that's for sure. But tonight, let me just tell you all, okay? Everybody on here, everybody within the sound of my voice, everybody, no matter whether it's friend or foe. I love you all, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about that. Y'all take care. I'll be back on. I'm going to send out a message probably tomorrow. Coming right back to back for the next 30 days, okay? We're going to be on and popping. And it's time to remember, the vision is clear, and we know what we must do. It's time to vote Republicans out of office from the top of the ballot down to the bottom of the ballot. Y'all take care. I love y'all. Peace.